Hello, and welcome to Petrella's Intuitive Insights. I do a lot of international readings. I speak to a lot of people, and, including my husband and I have been going through a situation of deep grieving. And I wanted to do a quick video because many of you had, wondered why I wasn't being in a timely fashion or, look, I'm trying to give you the short, sweet version. And I would like to hear some of your stories because I'm going to tell you some of mine. But my husband and I are elderly and we got a call to the hospital. This is short and sweet. And about 21 years ago, he and I had taken on a 2-year-old and a newborn, and they were blood related, but the parents just couldn't take the children. So we actually ended up legally adopting the one, and the other one just stayed with us until she graduated, got married, and moved out. But this is the one we're grieving. I'm going to show you her picture. There she is, Mariah. She's my beauty. We actually had an argument this day because she didn't want to go get her senior pictures taken. We had arguments over the false eyelashes. Her granddad and I would have all kind of petty arguments. Well, guess what? Today, we have a choice. We could either grieve or we can laugh about it. Her wearing inappropriate clothing when she was young and just trying to sneak out of the house with it, right? Like I said, just different things that teenagers do. And, we lost a child. We had to bury one of our children. So with that is grief. You grieve as deeply as you loved. She was our child. She was our child. And with that, as you just saw me just take a little giggle, her sister, they're full sisters, raised together, they're tight. When that one, I won't mention her name, but boy, is she a gifted psychic medium. I have to say that she, in times of nervousness or sadness, will giggle. She will giggle out of nowhere. And what she is doing is hurting inside, but giggling comes out. Because when you're grieving, it's nonsensical. It just doesn't even make sense. You could be fine one moment and then see their favorite food in a grocery store and fall apart. And that is called grieving. You grieve as deeply as you loved. Yes, I've been really, really blessed because I am a dreamer. I'm a psychic medium. And Mariah has come to us in her dreams. And in our dreams. And we've had some really, really great experiences because I'm hosting a witch's ball in near Pittsburgh, in between Pittsburgh and Youngstown. And so there's going to be at least 10 to 12 different psychic mediums there. And they have come to us giving us evidential mediumship. So in my heart and my mind, I know in my heart and my mind, she's in heaven and she's with the Lord. But I will say getting these validations really do help a great deal because we're grieving. Now, with that, I wanted to address this. I've had a dear friend. Actually, she was a client that became a friend. As she was trying to express I know she was trying to express her condolences, but what she said was, when she lost her dog, she grieved terribly. I got to tell you, I had a horse for 32 and a half years. Losing a child does not compare to a pet of any sort, okay? And I know that she probably saw it on my face when, because she kept repeating, a dog isn't like a child. A dog isn't like a child. And I know that just a look on my face threw her into some kind of frenzy. But, you know, when a person's grieving, others around you really sometimes don't know what to say. And they don't know how you feel. And so when they come up to you and they say, I know how you feel, don't ask, because they either lost a bird or they lost a rabbit or a dog. They don't know how you feel. So just leave it at that. Listen, I'm starting to go up a couple octaves. Okay? Because, you know, it's not the same. So I would like, if you wanted to do, even if it's once a month, a channel where we interact with grief. Now remember, I gotta tell you one angel story. Whew, I needed to hear this, because with this deep grief, you know, it's just life isn't the same anymore. Some things just don't matter, right? Well, here I did a reading for a woman, and I will not reveal her. She's in Belgium, I'll just say that. And I was the reader that needed to do this reading, because I was really down in the pits questioning I have a relationship with God. So when you folks pay for a reading, you're not just paying for somebody to flip you a card. You're paying for my way of life. I get up and I start in prayer. I leave my life in a good way. So that's what you're paying for, that I get good godly information. But as, got off track here. But with the grief, I did this reading for this woman, and she was in a very bad way. And before I do private readings, I usually say a prayer and I ask the divine to show me or allow me to hear or show me what the person needs to know, and allow them to be able to see and hear what I'm saying. And as I was doing a prayer for this woman in Belgium, I couldn't get anything. I got nothing. I got not her weaknesses, not her strengths, nothing. I got one thing. A 9-foot laughing angel was standing behind this woman. And if she's listening to the video, she could claim it as herself, but I won't say. I won't even be any clearer than that. But I just saw a 9-foot laughing angel. That's it. I couldn't get any other information. This lady paid me and gave me like a nice tip. And I had to call her and say, I was sorry. I will refund your money, right? As I called her and I said, excuse me, this is my situation. But all I'm getting is a 9-foot laughing angel. She burst into tears. And immediately she said, Petrella, listen to why I called you. Yesterday, because she was committing suicide, and she was in her garage, and as time was lapsing, she was watching various YouTube videos. As she came across one of my videos, it spoke to her spirit, and she immediately shut off her car and opened up the garage, and she started to pray for the angel of joy. She needed the angel of joy. And then she booked a reading with me, right, for the following day. And here I am, the reader, bringing my awareness right to this woman. And I get nothing, I tell you, nothing. Except a 9-foot laughing angel. This lady's prayer was answered immediately, and then validated within 24 hours by a woman that lives in the woods in Pennsylvania. So all I got to say is there is a divine. I don't care your religion. It's light or dark. It's love or it's anger and hatred and all of that. I had to do that reading because in my heart and mind and in my grief, watching a grown man cry and sob in the mornings because he misses his pumpkin, it kills me. And him watching me cry, it kills this old man, okay? So as I was doing this reading, and I knew for a fact that woman's prayer was answered, she's on a whole new path to this day, right? I too needed to see and hear that the spirits that be are at work. And maybe this wasn't some sort of a way, a blessing in disguise, and I have no understanding of it. But anyways, in my grief during that particular time, I was keeping up with some work. And I did that reading for that woman. And if she hears this and wants to claim it, fine. But no way. I respect the privacy of others. But I just want to say that angels are real. When we die, we're not dead. There is a life after death. And as a psychic medium, I'll give one more story. I guess we're maybe 10 minutes into this. Let me grab a drink of water. When I married my husband, God bless him. God bless that man. Geez, what he's been through, right? And then he marries a psychic medium, right? That lives a certain type of life out in the woods. I'm also enjoying a little glass of wine here, so salute. Anyways, what was I was getting into marrying my husband. So I went up to Rochester, New York. That's where he's from. His family's from. We went to this little diner. The waitress that was waiting on us was about, I'm going to say like maybe 50 or 60 years old, maybe 50. And I kept on seeing a deceased female soldier walking behind her with a banana in her ear. No kidding. Yes, you heard me correctly. A banana in her ear. And if the waitress ends up hearing this and wants to own up to it, in the comments below, because I won't reveal who you are. But anyways, I wanted to tell this waitress, and believe me, I'm not a public reader where I read and just tell people stuff like that. No, they got to commission me and come to me. I just don't go out like that because I think that that's not, I just don't do that for me. But I felt compelled. I had to tell this waitress there was a woman soldier with a banana in her ear, and she has a message, right? So at the end, I tried to tell her. I just couldn't get out the words. It was too ridiculous. But I wrote it on the back of my placemat. Not only did I write it, I printed it. And I printed it so legibly. And any of you that listen to this, that know me, I do chicken scratch because I used to work in social services. And that's just like chicken scratch. Make a note, make a note. And here I left that on a note. You have a female soldier, a banana in her ear. My name's Petrella. Here's my telephone number. My husband left money in there for a tip. I'm still in the parking lot. And this woman calls me crying. She's like, Petrella, my daughter was just killed overseas less than 7 weeks ago. I got full custody of her 7-year-old son who can read this, what you wrote. You wrote it and printed it so neatly. The banana in the ear is she would tell her son, get that banana out of your ear. Mommy's talking to you. That woman's daughter wanted her son to know she was there. This lady from in the woods outside between Pittsburgh and Youngstown was in Rochester, New York to say, hey, honey, your mommy's in heaven. She's in a good space. Get the banana out of your ear. That's called evidential mediumship. And no, I don't advertise myself as that because if they come through, they come through. Some people come to me and they want to see a certain person and another person comes through or nobody comes through. And I'm not going to conjure. But as for that waitress needed to know her daughter was right there. And she is. That brought peace to both the mother, the grandmother, and the 7-year-old boy. The woman, the female soldier, was fine. She's okay. She's in heaven waiting. One other story, as I was saying that, I keep on, I could go on with stories all day. So I would like to hear some of your stories in a link below. But so it's the angel story, the banana in the ear story, our Mariah story. I could go up with a couple of those, but I'll maybe do that on another time. But for those of you that have a story about life after death, and I could go on, but I already see that I'm already into like 15 minutes or so, and I don't want to bore you anymore. But many of us have seen our deceased loved ones in dreamings. Those are spirit visitations, oftentimes. Angels intervening on our behalf, and sometimes through deep grief. We can't see it. We can't see it. But just know, if you're saying your prayers in a good way, the divine is hearing them in a good way. And look, I got to remind you all of this dirty little F word. It's called forgiveness. I hate that word. But it's called forgiveness. And it's important enough that, you know, when we're getting holy and we're finding our way with the divine, the forgiveness isn't even so much about the other person. It's about letting it go. The excessive mind chatter go. Let them go. Forgive them and let it go. If you've done something, you need to let it go. Like even with our little, we used to call her Ra. With our little Ra, you know. Sometimes my husband would bring up that she and I planned a trip to Hawaii. And he was so mad at us. He came too, but he was just so mad because we're farm people, and he said, we can't do stuff like that. And now today, he has all these photos that all he does is look at the pictures of him, and he used to call her Pumpkin in the in Hawaii. Well, all of our pictures. But anyways, those of you that are dealing with grief, just know the deeper that you loved is the deepest the grief. And when you wake up and you're laughing and you're enjoying life, that's what they would want for us. Oh, this is one other thing. I'll leave you with this. I don't do a lot of public readings out there anywhere, but a friend of mine, Laura, she hosts Conneaut Lake up in Conneaut Lake Haunted Hotel, and I am one of the guests up there because I just think the world of her and her husband. So as I was up there one day, I just realized this about 5 years ago or so. When people talk to their deceased loved ones as if they're around, because they actually are, their energy, poof, is right there, right? I noticed that. And as soon as they sat down, if people were coming in right away, very clear. And again, if they were speaking to them, their energy was much more clear. So I don't know what you want to do with that information. That's just, some of you may be psychic mediums and have your own thoughts on that. Please, the comments below, leave the comments kindly, because you never know what another person is going through. And with that, I will leave this. We may do a part 2 on grief. If you guys have other subjects that you would like to hear about, again, leave them in the link below. Thank you, salute, and God bless.